From the number of confirmed kills to longest shots ever made, here are 7 of the deadliest snipers in American history. Number 7. Carlos Norman Hathcock. Carlos Hathcock is a Marine Corps sniper whose success in the Vietnam War became legendary. He is famous for his confirmed kill count of 93. It is most likely that it was much higher. Carlos actually estimated that he'd probably taken out over 300 enemy fighters during his career. This suspicion is backed up by the fact that a bounty was put on his head by the North Vietnamese Army of $30,000, about 15 times more than the usual rate for snipers. They called him the White Feather because of a feather that he would wear on his hat to spite the enemy. This name was later given to a variant of the M21 rifle in his honor. He first deployed to Vietnam in 1966 as a military policeman, but was soon transferred to the 1st Marine Division Sniper Platoon. He returned to the U.S. a year later after a particularly brutal mission. Carlos shared that his best shot was when he was able to eliminate a woman known as Apache. She was a sadistic leader who would capture and torture American soldiers by skinning them alive, cutting off their eyelids, removing their fingernails, and castrating them before letting them loose in the jungle where they would later die. He and his spotter were following her and got their chance when she stepped off the trail to Phi Phi. In 1969, he returned to Vietnam to command a platoon of snipers. While he was never hit by an enemy bullet, he was severely injured when an armored vehicle he was traveling in hit an anti-tank mine. He suffered third-degree burns before escaping the wreckage and received the Purple Heart for his brave efforts. Number 6. Lee Harvey Oswald. Lee Harvey Oswald will go down in infamy as the man who assassinated President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. According to 4 federal government investigations, Oswald shot and killed Kennedy as the president traveled by motorcade in Dallas, Texas. While most of us already know this, did you know that Oswald was also a former U.S. Marine? Oswald enlisted in 1956, just after his 17th birthday. He was trained and tested in shooting and scored .212, which is slightly above the requirements to be a sharpshooter. He was court-martialed after accidentally shooting himself in the elbow with an unauthorized .22 and several other incidents where he inexplicably fired his rifle. Just before turning 20, he was discharged from the Marine Corps and Oswald defected to the Soviet Union. He eventually returned to the U.S. in 1962. If he was in fact the lone assassin of President Kennedy, this means that he was an incredibly skilled marksman. Although the distance from JFK's car was never more than about 90 yards during the shooting, there are many factors that made this shot extremely difficult. Number 1, the car was moving away. It was blocked by an oak tree. All of the shots were fired within a very short amount of time. And most importantly, the only rifle that could have been used was nowhere near that accurate. During the investigation, expert riflemen from the U.S. Army and the FBI attempted to duplicate the shot. Even after fixing the gun and shooting at stationary targets, they were unable to accurately shoot the 2 hits out of 3 within 6 seconds that supposedly Oswald had made. Number 5. Chuck Mauney. Charles Chuck Mauney was one of the most lethal snipers of the Vietnam War with 103 confirmed kills. He holds a record for the most confirmed kills by a U.S. Marine. Son of a World War II Marine vet, he began shooting at a very young age and was an avid hunter. When he graduated from high school in 1967, he immediately joined the Marine Corps. A year later, he was sent to Vietnam where he continued hunting. One of his most famous engagements was at night. A large North Vietnamese army force was spotted moving its way south toward the U.S. base near Da Nang. A monsoon prohibited any air support, so Mauney volunteered to cover a river crossing where the Vietnamese were expected to march across. He left his sniper rifle at the base and went with an M14 semi-automatic rifle and a Starlet scope, which is an early night vision device. He engaged the enemy at ranges from 25 to 75 meters. He is now famous for stopping this Viet Cong assault by hitting 16 headshots in 30 seconds at night during bad weather. After leaving the Marine Corps, he married and worked for the U.S. Forest Service until he retired in the early 1990s. Mauney told no one about his service as a sniper and did not even know about his record. He was suddenly made famous in 1991 when a fellow Marine sniper, Joseph Ward, wrote about him in his book, Dear Mom, A Sniper's Vietnam. Number 4. Billy Dixon. Billy Dixon was known for being a skilled marksman, buffalo hunter, and Indian fighter in the late 1800s. He is one of only 8 civilians to receive the U.S. Medal of Honor. As a non-military sniper, he is famous for defending the Adobe Walls settlement against Indian attacks with his legendary Buffalo rifle. Adobe Walls, now Hutchinson County, Texas, was a trading post most famous for the hundreds of buffalo that roamed the area. It attracted buffalo hunters from across the country, and the buffalo population began to drop. The Native Americans realized the threat of the Adobe Walls trading post to their way of life and to the buffalo population and organized to attack them. Early in the morning on June 27, 1874, a combined force of Comanche, Cheyenne, Kiowa, and Arapaho warriors attacked the town. Billy Dixon was one of 28 men and one woman who participated in the Second Battle of Adobe Walls from inside James Hanrahan's saloon. The buffalo hunters repelled the attacks with their pistols and short-range weapons. On the third day, 15 warriors rode onto a bluff so they can get a better view of the attack and how to proceed. This is when Billy Dixon made his move. He aimed and took a shot with a big .50 Sharps rifle. Already known as a great shot, Dixon shocked even himself when he cleanly hit a warrior from his horse nearly a mile away. While now controversy reigns over the exact distance, U.S. Army surveyors who conducted a post-battle survey determined that the shot had in fact been over 1,500 yards, or 9/10 of a mile away. Supposedly an impossible shot. Following these events, Dixon joined the Army as a scout, and 3 months later found himself in another battle at Buffalo Wallow. His gallantry in battle at this subsequent fight earned him the Medal of Honor. Number 3. Herbert W. McBride. Although originally from Indiana, Herbert McBride served as a captain in the Canadian Expeditionary Force during World War I. He was a sniper and commander of a machine gun unit known as the Emma Geese. He was commissioned as an officer, but was reduced to a private due to his trouble with alcoholism. He was shipped off to England, where he was then sent to the Western Front. He is credited for killing more than 100 German soldiers as a sniper. His book, A Rifleman Went to War, is now a highly regarded book by students of riflery and is considered one of the best first-person accounts of World War I. He notes that by the end of 1916, the game was over, and he was court-martialed and dismissed due to his alcoholic binges. He later joined the U.S. Army's 38th Division, where he served as a sniper until Armistice Day. He later became a marksmanship and sniping instructor at Camp Perry. Then, McBride moved to Oregon and worked in the lumber industry in his later years. He died in Indianapolis of a sudden heart failure in 1933, shortly after finishing A Rifleman Went to War. He was 60 years old. Number 2. Adelbert Waldron. Another sniper from the Vietnam War is Adelbert Waldron. Until Chris Kyle in 2011, Waldron held the record for most confirmed kills at 109, the highest figure achieved by any American sniper in U.S. history. Waldron deployed in Vietnam in 1969 as part of the 9th Infantry and set his skill record in only 8 months of service. At the time, the 9th Infantry was based in Mekong Delta. This brought out his superior marksmanship skills, at one point scoring a confirmed kill after firing from a moving boat 900 meters away. Another time, he managed to take out a group of 8 Vietnamese soldiers from 500 meters away by using only 8 shots. One shot, one low. Waldron became one of the most feared and wanted by the Viet Cong and became known as Daniel Boone. The Vietnamese had a $50,000 bounty on his head. He was sent home in 1969, then became a sniping shooting instructor for the Army, and left the military a year later. By the end of his service, he had earned many military honors, including a Silver Star, many Bronze Stars, and a Presidential Unit Citation. Number 1. Chris Kyle. No list of snipers would be complete without mentioning Chris Kyle. He is the most accomplished sniper in U.S. history. Kyle received an invitation to the 24-week basic underwater demolition SEAL school called BUDS in 1999 and went on to serve 4 tours in Iraq as part of the SEAL Team 3. He served in many major battles that took place during the Iraq War, where he became notorious for his marksmanship skills. His first confirmed long-range kill was a woman approaching a group of Marines while carrying a hand grenade. Kyle called his longest successful shot a straight-up luck shot from his Macmillan TAC-338 sniper rifle when he killed an insurgent sniper aiming at other U.S. military personnel at 1,920 meters away. His effectiveness led to a bounty of up to $80,000 placed on him by insurgents who called him the Devil of Ramadi. While the Marines he was tasked to protect began to call him the Legend. Like many other snipers, the exact number of sniper kills is unknown since they have to be witnessed. The Navy confirmed 160 kills, which beat Adalbert Waldron's U.S. record of 109. Kyle helped found Fitco Cares, an organization that provides at-home fitness equipment for emotionally and physically wounded veterans. Kyle was killed in 2013, along with a friend at a shooting range in Texas by 25-year-old Eddie Ray Ralph, who was suffering from PTSD and schizophrenia. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and click here for more videos. We'll see you next time in Awesome America.